Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. You know, there's a topic everybody's talking about right now, and that is President Trump being targeted by the FBI in an investigation regarding the possession of documents he shouldn't be in possession of and some other things, all the way up to espionage, it appears. And a lot of people are very upset about this, and they're talking about it on their channels, or they're asking questions about it to me and other gun channels. Well, this is not something I usually would go on and on about because it's not something that's really in my wheelhouse. This is not something that, falls under my area of scrutiny. You know, I mostly pay attention to First Amendment issues, Second Amendment issues, constitutional issues, not political issues as much, unless they involve the Second Amendment or the First Amendment, etc. But in this case, someone actually posed a question to me last night that put it in a very Second Amendment related context. And what they asked me, they said, it appears, they said, that people in the gun community do not respect the rule of law. Is that actually the norm? Is that true? Or is that just a false appearance? Well, I know how you could think that. You could think that people in the gun community don't respect the rule of law because you got people on my end of the spectrum that do not trust law enforcement. I do not believe that law enforcement is on the right path. If you haven't heard me talk shit about them before, wait a few minutes, you'll probably hear it. I'm not a fan of current law enforcement. I do believe that the corrupt unions have allowed bad cops to fester inside the system and indoctrinate new cops into a mindset of having to protect the bad cops to where the whole system is pretty much corrupt now and needs to be redone. So I'm not a fan of law enforcement. I know that law enforcement needs to exist, but I understand that whenever you give any agency that kind of power, they have to have really strict scrutiny. And that scrutiny, thanks to the unions, has gone away. And therefore, police can't continue to exist the way they do without oversight and scrutiny. And then on the other side right now, what you're seeing is a lot of people who are usually, Blue Lives Matters, thin blue line people, calling for the abolishment of our nation's highest law enforcement agency, the FBI, simply because they served a search warrant on someone that a lot of them really like. I mean, really, really like for some reason that I don't really understand. I mean, I got nothing against Trump. I think a lot of the problems with Trump and a lot of the images of Trump that people have that are bad are a lot of times he was forced into those by media and the way he was treated. So I got nothing personally against him. I don't think he was the greatest president ever. He did some things I like, but as far as presidencies go, didn't really accomplish much. So, except for negotiating a deal with the Taliban that I didn't really care for. But other than that, but he did good stuff, like I said, like tariffs, etc. So general politician, as far as I'm concerned, he was a businessman who decided to become a politician, but he said he was going to stay a businessman, but he didn't. He became a politician, which seems like that's the way the system works. You can't survive in it without being a politician. So like I said, nothing against Trump. But now you've got all these people that I said are like thin blue line people that are calling for the abolishment of our nation's highest law enforcement agency. That's kind of ironic considering they were all over the people who called to defund the police, even the ones that didn't really want to defund them. They just wanted to change the way we fund them and the way they operate. So it's kind of ironic now, not just ironic, but hypocritical. And that's why it bothers me the most. I don't like hypocrites. So if you're a thin blue line person, you're a thin blue line person. You don't get to pick and choose when law enforcement is important. Well, they're important as long as they're going after the people I don't like, but as soon as they come after somebody I like, I don't like them and they should go away. Well, that's being a hypocrite. Have principles. So many people lack principles. But here's the reality of it. To address does the gun community not respect the rule of law? The gun community, I have always found, is very much about the rule of law. They don't have guns so that they don't have to obey the law. They have guns to make sure the government continues to enforce the law. And so that they can protect themselves against people who don't respect the law. Just like on the left, when they called to defund the police, that was a small number of people. That was a tiny percentage of the population, a bunch of kids basically marching in the streets because they've been indoctrinated to think that law enforcement somehow targets black men at a higher rate than they target anyone else committing crimes. That's not true, but they've been indoctrinated with that. So they're out there yelling, defund the police, because they have no understanding of how anything works. Same thing with the people on the right now that are calling for the disband the FBI. It is not the majority of people. It is definitely not the majority of the gun community or Republicans in general. If you look at the people that are saying that, it's usually fringe people. And it's only being amplified because the media wants to amplify it and make it look like it's all people on the right are now calling to get rid of the FBI. No, a tiny portion of them are, because they have loyalty to a certain person. And media is seeing that as a chance to get even for when the right wing went after the people saying defund the police. Now they're saying, aha, this is our revenge. We're going to make it look like you're all hypocrites. We're not all hypocrites. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of police. I think they are becoming a rogue organization with no oversight that is poisoned by bad cops who've been allowed to be bad cops because of the power of the unions. So I'm not a fan. But like I said, I recognize the need for law enforcement and the rule of law, just like most people on the right. These people that are calling for the abolishment of the FBI are not the majority. It's just a tiny minority that's being amplified by media to serve a political purpose. I think most people on the right are like, if Trump did do something wrong, we'll find out. If he didn't, then he'll be exonerated. But a lot of them are also like, while the FBI is doing this, they need oversight. They need scrutiny. We need to be holding them accountable. The people in charge need to know that if they do something wrong, we're not saying they will, because if we had total distrust in our system, then why are we Americans? If you don't think the system is at all redeemable, you should probably maybe move to Canada or something. See how you like it there. But we're saying there needs to be that oversight. Just like I say with police, they're kind of saying now with the FBI. Now, more people are saying that because I do believe people in the gun community believe in accountability. And I believe most people in the gun community are not hypocrites, but some are. And the ones that are the biggest hypocrites are the ones that they have an iron in this fire. You know, they have close ties to the president, or they make money off of fundraising through close ties to the president. You know, or through their connections with the president. Those are the people being very vocal about defunding the FBI. Those are shills. The only difference is with the left and the right is the media is acting like those people are important. Just like the BLM people that were calling for defund the police weren't important then, the far right people calling to defund the FBI are not that important in the overall scheme of things now. And this whole thing about like, oh, swarms of Trump supporters are outside of FBI offices armed. Well, when you watch the footage, and I made a point to watch these footages, even though I usually don't, I'm like, that's like 6 people. You know, it seemed like every one I saw had like 6 to 12 people. And when they were on different days, it seemed like they were the same 6 or 12 people. I saw 3 different cities that looked like at least half the crowd was the same people from the other crowd. So there's a small number of very determined people, but it's still a small number. Remember, tens of millions of people voted for Trump. So if only 6 to 10 people show up outside of a building, I don't really think that is representative of Trump supporters. That is a small fringe element of some Trump supporters. So you should just be saying some fringe right people showed up outside the FBI. Because to say they're Trump supporters, that would be a lot larger number. To even be slightly representative of that community, there'd have to be a lot more people. You can't have one gay guy show up outside of City Hall and threaten to burn it down and be claiming, the gay community wants to burn down City Hall. Well, no, that was just one gay guy. That's not representative of the community. Same thing with, Trump supporters. No, a few right-wing fringe elements showed up outside the FBI. One guy broke in and tried to break into the FBI. Tried to shoot people. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to get through bulletproof glass with his nail gun and then use his AR. He failed. That's not because of Trump. That's because that guy was a nut job. You know, maybe he truly believed it's time to fight back against the government, but turned out he was either ahead of everybody else or wrong because not a lot of people followed him. So I do believe the gun community, to answer the question, is very much in support of the rule of law. We just understand that the people often that are enforcing the law are human beings who are not always the best human beings. And a lot of times they allow their own personal opinions to influence how they do their job. So therefore, we have to pay close attention. We believe in oversight. We believe in holding their feet to the fire, making sure they do their job and do it well. But that is not the same as being against the rule of law. Even though, like I said, some fringe elements want to defund the police. Some fringe elements want to abolish the FBI. That's still just fringe elements, no matter what the media tells you. Most people don't get that deeply into one political ideology. Most people, like I said, we recognize the need for law enforcement. We just understand that when you give an agency that much power, they require way more scrutiny than any other agency. They should be paid very close attention to. That's what we believe in. We believe in them being there. We just believe in keeping a close eye on them. And with that being said, I am out of here. I hope y'all enjoyed the show today. I hope to see you again tomorrow. If not, I hope to see you tonight in the live chat. We have a live chat every night at 6 p.m. Pacific time, except for tonight since it's Wednesday, because Mondays and Wednesdays it's at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So if you want to come on over to the live chat, please do. I will see y'all then. If not, I just want to remind everyone out there to remember, always carry and stay safe until I do see you again.